Killing of Indian soldiers in Punch has once again cast its shadow on India-Pakistan dialogue. On this issue, I am joined by External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid. Sir, uh, will the peace process be reviewed after this incident?
I don't know why you speak of a review. Peace process or our relations internationally in the region or with our neighbors are a constant process. There is no switch that you can switch off and put on. But the pace, the quality, the content, the level, all these are dependent upon atmospherics. They're dependent upon the public support that you can get, and they're dependent upon about events and incidents that have implications of sovereignty, security, of dignity. And so you can't sort of say that today I will consider all these, but tomorrow I won't. This is a constant process in which all these things get factored in, and then the product of all the factoring in is the positions that you evolve from day to day. It's a growing, evolving position. I don't think it's static, and I don't think it's frozen in time. What happens today may look different.
But this barbaric attack has actually led to a public outrage in the country.
Yeah, I think it's a justified sense of outrage, and as the Congress president has said, it is not something that one can easily overlook, and one will not. But this is not the end of history. This is a process in which we've gained something, we've lost something, we have suffered and we have overcome. We have prevailed, and we have made some advancement forward. Ultimately, I think that nations have to live in peace, and neighbors have to live in peace, and Asia has to be in peace. But at what cost? Personal cost to us, personal cost to individual soldiers. All this we have to keep in mind before we take a final view.
But how do you intend to take this issue up with Pakistan?
We've already taken up with Pakistan in very firm manner. We've taken up with Pakistan. We expect, I hope, a reasonable response and a positive response. If they are interested, as they have said, in taking the peace process forward, then they would know that that's not a possibility unless public opinion in India is supportive of that peace process. And this is certainly no advocacy of support of public opinion.
But after this incident, do you think that the Prime Minister of India will be meeting Nawaz Sharif?
This is a call the Prime Minister will take at an appropriate stage. And I believe if the Prime Minister seeks our inputs, we will provide them. Any advice that the Ministry of External Affairs can give to the Prime Minister's office is obviously an ongoing process that we will provide. But factoring in everything, that includes public opinion, and it includes what responses we get from Pakistan, the ground situation, factoring in everything, the Prime Minister at an appropriate stage will decide what he wants to do and how he will do it. I don't think that we should foreclose something that will happen a little bit down the line, maybe in a week's time, maybe in 2 weeks' time. But let's wait for that moment to come.
There were a lot of voices which were emanating from Pakistan saying that India perhaps is ready for unconditional talks with them. Is that correct, sir?
I can't even understand what that means. If I have to talk to you, I surely have to address a sense of grievance that you have. I cannot scoff at your grievance. I cannot neglect your grievance. I cannot bypass your grievance. I must address your grievance, particularly if it's a legitimate one. And I don't think anybody in the world can say that India does not have a legitimate grievance and an expectation that must be met, which is that the hurt that has been inflicted upon us in recent years must be addressed. There must be some delivery of a signal that there is intention to make people accountable. Otherwise, there isn't much sense, frankly, in conversation.
Adwani today attacked your government, saying that your defense minister has exonerated Pakistan. You were under political attack in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, houses didn't function. Opposition accused you of being soft, having a policy which does not affect your neighbor in a very muscular way.
No, I think they should just make up their mind. They say that we don't have good relations with our neighbors, and then they say why are we being soft, and why are we being sensible, and why are we being reasonable. I don't think that either of their opinions, frankly, are based on an honest assessment of what the situation is. I think they are frankly influenced very greatly by the desire to say something that sounds different, and that might, according to them, get them public acclaim and support. I don't think the Indian public is so short-sighted. There is a sense of hurt. We have it too, but they're not short-sighted. They know that the future of India is not dependent on a terrible incident that happened recently or some months ago. That these are incidents that must not happen, are not acceptable, but nevertheless they cannot hold hostage our entire future thinking.
And last question to you: there's a clamor in some section of MPs, in the civil society, that there is no sense of justice. We don't give it back to them. How do you see this mood? Do you find it dangerous, or do you see that we should do that? Perhaps we should also have our own cross-border little operations. How do you see the big picture in this discourse emerging, that we haven't done enough to boost the morale of our armed forces?
I would take this seriously if it came from people who are likely to lose lives in combat. I'm not going to take it seriously if it's coming from people who've never known the pain of sacrifice and loss. But it's a democracy. Every opinion is important, and therefore I respect this opinion. They have a right to this opinion, but we in government have to take into account not immediate reactions of for popular kind or unpopular kind, but we have to take into account long-term implications. We have to look at relationships that we have to build across the globe, not just with our neighbors. And switching off a relationship with our neighbor in any form doesn't necessarily mean that we will have no implications in a much larger context. India is a country that's aiming legitimately, and I think rightfully, for a place at a high table of Security Council as a permanent member. We will have to learn to act with responsibility. Even when there is pain inflicted on us, we'll have to react with responsibility. Within that parameter of responsibility, what are the options? Are options on which seriously we will reflect from time to time, but these are not options that we will exercise in the middle of a channel discussion. It's something that has to be done in closed doors within the high echelons of government, who are fully informed about both the implications and the events that have happened.
Thank you for speaking with us. With camera person Ashok Banot, Kartikeya Sharma from Delhi for Headlines Today.